Hey everyone, Summerhill Cinema 700 here. Thanks for joining me today on this beautiful sunny day. At least it is here. Hopefully it is where you are too. But thank you very much for tuning in today. I know I haven't done a video in a long time. I've just been so busy and I've been spending a lot of time outside, honestly. But and thanks to all of you who enjoyed my who left comments or likes on my the two songs that I made recently. The Haunted Mansion, I think it was called, and then Chased in the Dark, which are two songs that I composed on some synthesizers that I have, which was really fun to do, and I've been doing a lot of that lately, hence the reason I haven't been doing a ton of videos, but still going to be doing some. Plan on doing more as the summer goes. As we go further into the summer, maybe some more 80s slasher reviews or something like that. But yeah, thank you very much for those who commented and liked and left nice words about those songs. I'm glad you enjoyed them. It was really fun to make, and music and movies are my two biggest passions, and outdoors and whatnot. So glad that you guys enjoyed those songs. So I just thought I'd do a video today showcasing my Chuck Norris Blu-ray collection, because I know sometimes when I do these collection videos, they get quite a bit of views. People seem to enjoy them, especially like when I did my 80s slasher Blu-ray collection. That got like over 1,000 views, I think. And then I did one of my Steven Seagal collection. I think that's all I've done for collection-related videos. I might have done more, I just can't remember right now. But I thought, why not do, instead of showing my whole collection, which I'm not really into doing, I just rather show bits and pieces of the collection. So I thought, let's start out, let's do some action heroes, some of the action hero sections in my collection. So we'll do like Chuck Norris, and then maybe after this one we'll do Jean-Claude Van Damme. We've already done Steven Seagal, like I mentioned. Maybe we'll do like, Stallone, maybe Schwarzenegger, Charles Bronson, stuff like that. So I thought, what would be a better place to start than Chuck Norris, because I love his films. I have a fair amount. I don't have all of them, but I have a decent amount, I guess. I have the ones that I really enjoy. I'm missing a few. We'll talk about some of those at the end. But to start off with, we have this 15 movie collection here. It's funny, it says 15 movies including Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal, but I think there's only like one movie with Steven Seagal on here, and like 3 with Chuck Norris. It's a combo DVD pack. This one, I don't even think features either of them. It's weird. But this one here has Logan's War, Bound by Honor, The President's Man, and The President's Man, A Line in the Sand, which I've watched both of the President's Man movies. We'll get to those in a second because I have them here on another release. But yeah, that's just a little collection. I think my buddy gave me that for free a few years ago. It was probably like one of those ones you'd buy in like a $5 bin or something. But then next up, yeah, we just have, this is the standalone release. Well, it's a double feature, but it has The President's Man and The President's Man, A Line in the Sand, which is the second one. I just watched both of these recently in the last few months, and they were entertaining. They weren't nearly as good as his earlier flicks. I think the first one of these is from 2000. The second one's from like 04 or 05. And it's funny watching these now. Like we always talk about how we love films in the 80s and the way that they look and the styles and everything like that. But looking back at these movies, even in like the early 2000s, it looks so different than the world now. It's kind of crazy how things have changed just in that amount of time. But that's going back like 20 years now, so a lot can change in that time. But as far as movies go, these are they're entertaining. I think these were both made for TV movies, so there's nothing that amazing. Some of the CGI is horrible in these. The acting is okay. Chuck Norris is acting. There's an Asian lady who's super attractive who plays his daughter. She's all right, and then at acting. And then there's like 2 guys, I think, that play like they're basically, Chuck Norris is the President's Man, and I guess he's like slowing down a bit, so he's trying to find a new person to be the President's Man to like protect him and go on all these like secret missions and whatnot. So he trains these 2 guys, one per movie, and their acting's pretty bad, but they're fun nevertheless. If you have nothing better to do and you're like, I don't know what to watch today, or like what I'll do is I'll watch one of these when I do like one of my shifts that I work. I do like an early morning shift, so when I get off work I'm pretty tired, so sometimes I'll fall asleep halfway in between a movie. So I'm like, I'll watch one of these because if I fall asleep for a bit of it, it's not a big deal. But these are entertaining. I mean, they're definitely, if you have a Chuck Norris collection, you don't really need them in your collection, but they're fun. nonetheless. So that's The President's Man, Two Line in the Sand. The first one, I think he's rescuing the president's wife, and there's a couple other things that happen. One thing that's cool about the first film is it actually has Soon Tek-O in it, who you might remember from, was it Missing in Action, I think, 2? And then he comes back, and that was like, that's like 20 years before this movie came out. So in the first one, Soon Tek-O is in it, and there's a fight between him and Chuck Norris, which is probably the best part of the movie. It's actually worth seeing the film alone for that scene. It's really cool, and I'm a big fan of Soon Tek-O. He's been in a lot of great 80s action films, and it was just cool to see him later in his career in this. I think he passed away several years ago, but he was awesome. Great martial artist and respectable actor. So he's in the first one, but the second one, I think they're trying to stop these terrorists from taking out. They're trying to nuke the United States. So they're basically trying to stop these guys from doing that. But yeah, the first one alone is probably worth it just for that. But I'm kind of going on way too much about these movies, but they're entertaining. If you can find them for cheap, like you can see, this one was like $5 for the 2 films, then pick it up. They're entertaining, but they're nothing amazing. All right, next up we got Lone Wolf Mcquaid. This is a pretty fun one. This one is this particular release is from Scorpion Releasing. And I got this one on RoninFlix.com. I think it's still available, but yeah, you just got an awesome slipcover. But this is a really entertaining movie. I think he's a Texas Ranger in this one, Chuck, and the main enemy is David Carradine. He comes to town and he starts wreaking havoc in the town, so Chuck Norris has got to deal with him. And it's a really entertaining movie. It's not my favorite. Some people say that this is his best movie. I definitely would put it honestly lower on my list. It's a really entertaining one, but I think there's a lot better films that he did, but this is definitely entertaining, and having David Carradine in it too is just makes it extra special. And there's some nice martial arts fights between Chuck Norris and him, and this one has a few special features. This one's got a new 2K scan along with some other special features, but we're not going to go in really into depth about the particular releases. It just show the collection. But yeah, just a really awesome slipcover too. And there's the back of it there. So that's Lone Wolf Mcquaid. It's definitely an entertaining one. And then after that, these here were the first Chuck Norris movies that I ever watched. And they're probably still my favorite. It's hard to say, but I think that these are still my favorite. And that's the Missing in Action films. This is all 3 of them here in this DVD set from Shout Factory. And I got this at Walmart, I think, for about $8. And I got it a couple years ago, and yeah, these are just awesome films. I really only got into watching Chuck Norris's movies a few years back, and I discovered them. I had seen his films before, but didn't really get into them as much until I watched the Missing in Action movies, and then I finally ended up getting this DVD set too, which I was really happy about. And I love all of them; they're all awesome. And I think it was the first one. I can't remember exactly. It's kind of confusing. The second movie actually takes place before the first one because he's a POW himself, and then in the second one, or in the first one, is actually him going back to Vietnam to rescue the POWs, and then the third one, it's there's all these kids that are kind of being held hostage or something. I can't remember exactly what the plot is. But he ends up reuniting with his long-lost wife, as well as discovering that he has a son. But they're all awesome. I really enjoy all of these. Again, I think they're my favorite Chuck Norris films, the Missing in Action series. I can watch them all the time, and I never get tired of them. And again, I mentioned, like I said before, the second one has Soon Tek-O, and he does a great job in that. And the guy in the first one, too, I can't remember his name right now. It might be James Wong or something like that. I don't think so, but he's been in tons of films too. He's in Big Trouble in Little China, tons of movies. I think he actually he's been in more movies than anybody ever in history. I can't remember his name right now, but anyways, this is a great collection. I think it's going out of print, but you can still get it most places. But yeah, the Missing in Action movies, I just love them. I think they are honestly my favorite Chuck Norris films, and I enjoy all 3 of them. In what order I would put them in, I don't know. I love them all. They're really entertaining, and I highly recommend them. They're totally action-packed, and yeah, they're just a great time. So that's the Missing in Action 1, 2, and 3. Next up, we have this. This is another collection from Shout Factory. It has 8 films in it. It also has Missing in Action 1, 2, and 3. And then you also get Invasion USA as well, which we'll talk about that after, because I have it as a standalone release too. But again, and this one also has, like Death Wish 2, Cyborg, Ninja 3, The Domination, and Exterminator 2. So I have some of these already on Blu-ray, but I wanted to have this collection because some of the films I don't have, and it's worth it for those alone. All right, next up, this is one that I actually haven't had a chance to watch yet, and that's An Eye for an Eye. And this one's from Kino Lorber. They've done quite a few Chuck Norris releases. And yeah, again, haven't seen this one yet. This one's from 1981, but from what I hear, it's action-packed, got a lot of martial arts, so looking forward to checking that one out. And again, any of these films that I haven't seen, like if you've seen these, let me know what you think about them without spoiling the film for me. But that's An Eye for an Eye. All right, next up we have Code of Silence. This is also one of my favorite Chuck Norris films. I'd say that the Missing in Action movies are my favorite. And again, what order those would go in, I'm not 100% sure, but I would say, Missing in Action 1, 2, and 3 are number 1. This would be number 2. I love this film. It's an awesome police drama type film. It's totally action-packed. It's got Henry Silva in it, as well as a lot of the other actors that were in Above the Law, which is kind of funny because this takes place also in Chicago, I think, and this one came out a few years earlier. This is 85. I think Above the Law was 1988, and it has a ton of the same actors in this one, like the guy that was, I can't remember the actor's name, the guy who was wearing the red shirt in Above the Law was working in the bar, the bartender, Henry Silva, along with some other people. And then it also has I can't remember the guy's name, but he played Lombard in Miami Vice. He's been in a lot of movies, just can't think of the name right now. He's in this as well. But this is just an awesome movie, highly entertaining. I love it. I love films that are shot in the city, like, in the 80s, like especially urban type of films like RoboCop and whatnot. And this really captures that inner city kind of vibe. Films now, not so much, because it's just something about the way the world was back here in these films. It's a lot more simpler. It's just more enjoyable to watch. But anyways, Code of Silence is just an awesome film. It's got a really cool soundtrack as well to this one, kind of similar to Above the Law. I think there's like some saxophone, some cool slap bass guitar and whatnot. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about this one. If you like action films, if you like police dramas, or if you like Chuck Norris, you will enjoy Code of Silence. 10 out of 10. I love this film. And this one's also from Kino Lorber. It's a great movie. Anything that Orion did too. Orion Pictures. I don't know if you can see that logo. They're not around anymore, sadly, but I think they did RoboCop as well. They were a great studio. All right. Next up, we have Invasion USA. I was talking about this before on that DVD release. This one's from Scream Factory. This is actually out of print now, unfortunately, this particular release. But this is a really good film, and a lot of people really love this one. Like they say it's their favorite. Again, I really enjoy it, but it's definitely not my favorite. But everyone's got their own taste when it comes to the Chuck Norris filmography. But I just find this movie highly depressing. Like it's fun because, Chuck Norris has taken on all these terrorists, but the terrorists wreak a lot of havoc, and I don't really think that I don't know. I mean, if you've seen the ending, I'm not going to spoil it. The main terrorist guy in this film definitely gets what he deserves, but I don't know. You still feel like, could have been worse for them because they they do so many terrible things in this film. Kill so many innocent people. It's kind of disturbing to watch, honestly. But it's highly entertaining. Once Chuck comes in and starts kicking ass, things get a lot more entertaining. But this is definitely a very fun film. It's just when I watched it, honestly, it wasn't what I kind of had expected. It's definitely a fun film, though. So that's Invasion USA. And next up, this one here I just watched for the first time a few weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. That's Hero and the Terror. This one's also from Kino Lorber, and this one's from 1988. This one, basically, Chuck Norris's character, he's also a cop in this one, but he's tracking down a serial killer who's he's killing women. And it's basically his job. He's one of the lead investigators, try to stop this guy. And he had an interaction with him in the past. And the guy is like this huge guy, and he almost killed Chuck Norris's character in the film. and then he gets put away in prison, ends up escaping, and starts going on a killing rampage again. And it's up to Chuck Norris to basically track this guy down and find out how he's getting into these places and killing these women. Highly entertaining, very good action film. It's got a lot of, it can be creepy at times, but it's action-packed. It's got a good story. Everybody that in this did a really good job acting, in my opinion. It also has Steve James in this one as his friend, which is really nice. Always love him in films. Big Steve James fan. And the woman who played his wife in this film is just a really good actress, and she did a really good job in this role. And just everybody's characters, they all seem realistic, in my opinion, which I really enjoyed. Some of the films, they can be so over the top, but this one felt very real to me. But that's Hero and the Terror, and this one's very entertaining. And it's got a lot of characters that you'll recognize from other action films, which is always fun. Just like this guy here, I can't remember his name with the ponytail there. He's been in a lot of 80s action films. He's like a Samoan guy. But if when you watch these films, it's always cool because you always recognize, oh, I know that guy from this film and that guy from this film and whatnot, which is always really fun. All right, and next up we have Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection. Now, I actually don't have the first Delta Force, and I haven't seen it yet. I've been trying to get my hands on it, but for some reason, I just can't find a Blu-ray anywhere. It's on Amazon. It comes back and forth. I try to find it on eBay and stuff like that, but I just haven't come across it. But I heard that Delta Force 2 is a lot different from the first one and doesn't have a lot to do with it. I can't comment on that because I actually haven't seen the second one either yet. I'm kind of trying to wait till I get the first one to see that and then watch this one, just because I just feel like I should do that. But I hear that this one's very entertaining. Some people have actually said that the Delta Force 2 is actually better than the first one. This one also has Billy Drago in it. And Billy Drago was actually in A Hero and the Terror, too. I forgot to mention that. He plays like a psychiatrist, I think, in that one. And John P. Ryan's also in this one, who I'm a huge fan of. I love his acting. Class of 1999, and he's in Runaway Train and the It's Alive franchise, and what the hell's it called? Avenging Force. And he was also in Death Wish 4. Just a lot of stuff. A big John P. Ryan fan. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, but I just love the roles that he plays. But yeah, so this one's from 1990 too. So I think this is the most, the President's Man would be the most recent one, and the President's Man 2. But this one's from 1990, so it's a little bit more recent. Still, though, it's 30 years ago now, which is insane to think. But this is Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection. Again, I'll try to get my hands on the first one soon. And then last but not least, we have this film here, which he wasn't the main star in it, but he had a pretty iconic scene, and that's Way of the Dragon with Bruce Lee. And I forgot to mention, too, that last one, the Delta Force 2, is also a Kino Lorber release. But yeah, this is the Shout Factory release. Fortune Star also had something to do with this release, but these ones are all out of print. They did The Big Boss, The Fist of Fury, this one, as well as Game of Death. But I also got the box set from the Criterion Collection. But yeah, the showdown scene, Chuck Norris versus Bruce Lee inside the Roman Coliseum, is just one of the best, if not the best, showdown scenes in cinema history. Well, we'd probably say The Good, the Bad, the Ugly would be the greatest, but this would definitely be second or third. This is just an amazing a scene between these two. Great movie, too. I love all the Bruce Lee films. Big fan. And Chuck Norris, too. He's done a lot, for kids and whatnot, getting into martial arts and keeping them out of trouble, which I'm a big supporter of. So anyways, that's my Chuck Norris Blu-ray-DVD collection. It's not massive, but I have most of the stuff that I really like. I have already. Again, I'll try to get the Delta Force, the original one. And there's some other films of his I'd like to check out, like Firewalker and A Force of One, The Octagon. There's a lot of ones that I haven't seen that I'd like to see. It was another one, Good Guys Wear Black, I think it's called. He's done so many films, but I have, most of the ones that I have all the ones that I know I like, at least. But yeah, I'd like to know from you guys, what are your favorite Chuck Norris films? What's your favorite? What are your top 3, top 5, top 10, whatever? His movies are just, highly entertaining. Always love watching them. They're those types of movies you can watch anytime, and you're just going to have a good time with them. A lot of them don't take themselves too seriously, but they're good, they're entertaining. Some of them have some pretty good stories. Other ones you just watch for the crazy, over-the-top action. But yeah, I love his films, and I'm a very big Chuck Norris fan. So just let me know in the comments what are your favorite Chuck Norris movies. So thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more stuff coming soon. Maybe we'll do the Van Damme collection next. So stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time.